That's a true story also. Now I want to answer a couple of questions. There have been a lot of questions about how I go all over the world and do things and see stuff. How do I deliver all of these toys on Christmas? And it's pretty simple. Basically, I have magic, and that's a wonderful thing. At the North Pole, we're very, very magic. A lot of it, a lot of magic. I can make myself very, very small or very, very big, however I want to, however I need to. And when I do make myself small, I can go down chimneys, I can go through the sash of a window, I can go underneath doors, I can just anywhere. And then when I get into the room where the Christmas tree is, I'm big, I let out the toys, and then I sometimes will tap my nose and up through the chimney I go. And that's the way it is. I have a lot of elves. Okay, Elf on the Shelf. There are a lot of kids that have questions about the Elf on the Shelf. And we have at the North Pole, we hire about, I'm going to say probably thousands, maybe more than thousands of elves, and they're called Elves on the Shelf. And they go out all year. They're working all year. But around Christmas time, they are more visible. You can see them more. And the reason you can see them more is because they are so active and so busy that they become visible. And you see these elves on the shelf, and what they're doing is you'll see them in one place and then you'll see them another. They move around and they report back to me on how things are going, whether or not you're being good and are naughty or nice. And I have a list, and I keep a list of the naughty and nice. And honestly, most of you boys and girls out there are really solid on the good list. I mean, you are solid tight, so you don't have to worry. If you're naughty, in the morning when you get up on Christmas morning, there'll probably be coal, maybe some chunks of coal, or maybe some switches. I don't do that very much, but I do carry a little in the bag with me. For the nice kids, not a problem. I got a lot of toys. Okay, take two. Elf on the Shelf. So the question is, are the elf on the shelf, are they watching me all year? And the answer is yes. The elves on the shelf are watching you, and they see everything you're doing, and then they report back to me. I have a list, and I keep it in my list here, and I look around and I say, oh, and then I know what's going on. And most of the reports come back are all pretty good. There are several things that are very important. You're nice to other children. You've got to be nice to other kids because that's the way we are as people. We're nice. And then you've got to share. You've got to help around the house a lot. You need to, some of you may want to know what are some chores you should be doing. Like you could help with the dishes, help clean, help put things away. There is a question asked to me. By the way, the elf on the shelf, when they report back to me, when they go back again, they'll wind up in a different place in the house. And that's kind of why you see them moving around. So why does the elf on the shelf move around? The elf on the shelf moves around because when they make a list and they watch things, and then they report back to the North Pole, they tell me stuff, and as they're telling me stuff, I'm listening and I'm saying okay, and then they report back. Well, they always go in a different place, and they see different things. Plus, sometimes they don't remember where they were. Some of the elves just don't remember where they were before, but they do report into me on a regular basis. And so if you have an elf on a shelf and you see them around the house, just know that they're reporting to me. There's been a question asked me, let's see, how many reindeer do I have? I have thousands of reindeer, and I have the usual standbys that the Donner and Blitzen and those guys, and of course Rudolph, who guides my sleigh. Those reindeer are the main working reindeer, but then I have some backup reindeer on days that it becomes really, really cold and it's very, very hard. We may put a couple extra reindeer on the sleigh to pull us through. So that would be something that you may need to know about. There are a lot of issues there. It gets very, very cold at the North Pole. Let's see, the elves are busy working and they're busy making things, and they have a very, very, very big factory that they all love to. They sing Christmas songs, they eat cookies and milk, and they work very, very hard, and they make a lot of toys. And the second Christmas is been taken care of and all the toys are delivered, we sit down and we all have milk and cookies together, and then the next day we start working again for the following year. And we try to stay up with everything, and we do a pretty good job. Let's see. Okay, the question's been asked, what are my favorite cookies? And as a person who loves cookies, there are 2 or 3 kinds that I really, really like. I like chocolate chip cookies, but I also like the sugar cookies at Christmas. I like the ones with little sprinkles on top a lot. I generally like a glass of milk, and sometimes some of the kids will leave out a carrot or a stick of celery for the reindeer, and because the reindeer also like their treats. But Rudolph every once in a while will snitch one of my cookies. As a matter of fact, last year Rudolph came in with me on several houses and walked around the house and looked in the rooms and saw a couple of you kids sleeping in your beds. And his nose was so bright I was worried he was going to wake you up, but he didn't. So it was pretty good. But he came over, and when I wasn't looking, I was putting presents under the tree. Rudolph went over there and snitched a cookie. He actually snitched several of them, and I went over and I saw there was a carrot and a glass of milk, and I thought, where's the cookie? I thought there was a cookie. And Rudolph had a powder all around his mouth and like cookie powder and stuff, and his nose was going like this, real bright, and I knew right off the bat that Rudolph had been kind of ornery. So, but he does that. He's a lot of jokes. He likes to play jokes on the other reindeer and play. They have a good time in the off season when they're not helping deliver presents and working and stuff. They're laughing and playing out in the snow, and they like the snow a lot. Reindeer just like snow. They just always have. The North Pole is very, very big. It's a very, very big area, and there's a lot of music and a lot of laughter and stuff that's going on at the North Pole. So that works out pretty good for us. Basically, I'm looking forward to coming and seeing you on Christmas. Let's try to get here. I am so looking forward to coming and seeing you on Christmas. This will be so much fun. I like Christmas a lot, and I think that we'll have a really good time. I'm really proud that you've been nice and you've been kind to the other kids. I think that really makes a big difference. And you've been helping out around the house with all the chores, and that needs to be done. Those chores need to be done. And you've also been nice to the kids at school. I noticed that some of you kids have really been playing well at school with your friends. This is going to be a really, really good season. This is the biggest season I've ever had. My toy bag is more full than it's ever, and there's everything in it from ponies to puppies to there's electronic toys, there's pads, there's little wooden toys, ducks that go quack, 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 quack. There's lots of Lego toys. There's toys, all different kinds of toys, and lots of games are in this bag. And it gets so full that sometimes it's hard to even get it to lift at the North Pole. How do I get the sleigh off? Well, that's magic power, and that's where believing comes in. And because so many wonderful children believe, I'm able to get the sleigh off the ground and get her into the sky and get Rudolph on the road. So we're doing really good at the North Pole, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Christmas. So that sounds great. Well, that's it. Okay.